number 4 in the world is a pretty nice place to be ranked.
Well, Clair, talk a little bit. You talked about a smaller market event, and you guys have done a great job in upgrading the fields over the last few years. But Steve did talk yesterday about, some new rules on the PGA Tour that may or may not take place next year. And how do you feel about that? The PGA Tour kind of legislating to players on a few events that they'd like them to play in each year.
Well, I actually was at that meeting representing the Tournament Advisory Council, the TAC. I sit on that board. And anything that gets more players into more events is a good thing for the PGA Tour. I don't care what event you represent. There's an ebb and flow to these things. Some events look at the Byron Nelson, for crying out loud. They used to get 5 of the top 10 players in the world, and now they're struggling after Byron Nelson passed away. So anything from a tournament standpoint that gets guys to play, gets guys to spread out their play a little bit more is good. Now, the suggestion they have, identify at the end of each year some events that might need a little help the next year. Make sure that the top 30, 40, 50, wherever they draw the line, players from the previous FedEx Cup list playing at least one of those events. That's a start. I don't know that that's a list you necessarily want to be on, because it I guess reflects a bit of an off year for strength of field standpoint, but I do think it's a step in the right direction.
Well, the John Deere Classic certainly at this stage is not on that list, thanks to your great leadership. I don't know what, I get all the mags. I don't know if it was Golf World or Golf Week or Golf Digest last week, had even a nice paragraph as we wind things down about the strength of your field. I wanted to have you promote how people get tickets the next 4 weeks before we go to the bottom of the hour.
Well, the easiest way, Mike, is www.johndeereclassic.com, and we have the ability to purchase tickets right on the website. If they'd rather talk to someone, it's 309-762-GOLF is our telephone number, but the website is really the place to go, and give you, who's in the field and how to buy tickets and where to park, and all the questions are answered there.
All right. Well, we'll talk every week between now and then, and we'll expound more on the players and give you more time next week.
Sounds great. I always enjoy talking to you guys.
Thanks, Clair Peterson. And we're going to be giving away, as I mentioned, John Deere Classics each and every week up until the event. And the gentleman right across from me is going to be playing, so most of the Hack Nation from our world will be down there following as well. We'll be back here on the tee on the Iowa Sports Connection Radio Network.
River Valley Golf Course in Adel. Every Tuesday, enjoy 18 holes with a cart for just $25. Stop out after 5 every day for Twilight Golf. $25 gets you 18 holes and a cart. Seniors golf 18 holes with a cart for just $29 Monday through Friday. River Valley Golf Course is open to the public and offers 18 challenging holes of par 72 overlooking the Raccoon River Valley. Visit rivervalleygolf.com for a complete list of course details, specials, and upcoming events. River Valley Golf, family owned.
Just wound down the most successful 2010 Principal Charity Classic from a field perspective. Just an incredible finish, and a gentleman, one of our friends from the Golf Channel who was there calling it, is kind enough to take time to join us tonight, and he's Mark Lye. Heck of an event for us here in the great state of Iowa. You get to see a lot of great events, but certainly was a successful weekend, Mark, for us Iowans.
Well, it really was, and this event, I played in it a bunch. I'm now 57. I think I played in it 4 or 5 times. And I always like coming to Iowa just because I know the fans are well-versed, they're polite, and I love the Glen Oaks Country Club. I mean, I think it's a great golf course. It's a perfect town for a Champions Tour event, and it's a very challenging golf course. We got a little bit of weather on Sunday, and we've had some pretty nasty stuff blow in through the years. So, some guys, they can get it going out there like Tommy Armour did the first day, but in the end, it was a great test, and it was a pure ball striker that won the event, Nick Price.
Well, Mark, you brought up Tommy Armour, and we talked earlier in the show, the shot that he hit on the 15th hole on that par 5 out of the fairway bunker, going for that green in 2. I know Jay Horton, who's here in the studio with us tonight, also is another club professional. We've played that golf course many times. Unfortunately, been in that bunker a lot, and going for the green in 2 was the last thing that's ever been on our minds.
Yeah, me too. You know, I tell you what, I can count the times I've gone for that green on my first on 2 fingers. But you know, just in the last 3 or 4 years, I really think that guys have nailed it down. We've got guys that are coming out there at 50 years of age that still have their A game from the PGA Tour. There's a little bit more length out there. Nick Price is, I don't know if you've been following him this year, but he is just absolutely on fire. It's his first or second win of the year. He teamed with Mark Lye to win the Hall of Fame event out there at Savannah. But when you look at his ball strike, and I tell you, when I hit balls next to Nick Price, I'm thinking it's back in 1987 because he's got command of the golf ball. And when you see a shot like Tommy Armour hit out of that bunker, it's like, nobody's playing for second at that point. You can't tell me that, we've heard the thing where the guys of today don't have any guts and they always lay up because there's financial consideration. Tommy Armour was going all out on that, and he hit a 1 in probably 50 shot up on the green.
Well, it's funny that you talk about Nick Price back in the late 80s, early 90s. I got a chance in 1993 in the World Cup of Golf was at Lake Nona. I watched Nick Price warm up, and I was down there trying to play the mini tours, and I walked away from watching him hit balls, and I thought, in my wildest dreams, I could not hit the golf ball as straight as that guy just did.
You're absolutely right, and my own personal experience was my last tournament was in Florida, and the reason my last tournament was in Florida is because I happened to be hitting golf balls next to Nick Price on Saturday afternoon, the back of the range, and I watched the control that he had, and he was playing dial-a-shot. We're good old friends, we've been playing on the PGA Tour since the early '80s. And when he started dialing up those shots, I just basically looked at my cat. I said, "Dude, we're done. He's shoving me right back into the booth where I belong because I couldn't match a shot that he was hitting to save my life." And that's the thing. I mean, even when guys get in their 50s, they can still rock and roll out there. For any of the fans that are listening that went out and watched, I mean, I'm sure they were kind of like their jaws are on the ground because these guys are pretty doggone good. We look at Jason Day and Ricky Fowler and some of the young guys out there on the PGA Tour, but I think the older guys, and John Cook shooting 65 the last round, I mean, that's incredible. The older guys still do have it. They've got a lot more refinement in their game than some of these young guys.
Well, that's my question. With the Glen Oaks, we've played a lot of tournament rounds out there, like I said, Judd and myself, and I don't even see these scores of 63, 4, 5 out there. What makes these guys so, in your opinion, so good, and what's the secret to all the good scoring out there?
It's kind of their last shot at it, and I think that where I see the guys starting to drop off is around the greens. And if you've got a sharp short game, you can play all the way till you're 65, like Hale Irwin or somebody like Gil Morgan. But I really notice, some guys at age, 56, 57, 58, they're starting to lose their touch around the greens. They don't really lose their golf ball hitting ability. But when they start getting a little yippee-i-o on the greens and around the greens, that's when they kind of lose it. But still the guys, 50, 51, 52, are pretty crisp, and they still got great nerves. Maybe not great nerves at a U.S. Open or something like that, or a Masters. But you got Freddie Couples. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, he was competitive at the Masters. I mean, we've seen Bernard Langer pop up there on leaderboards. We've seen Corey Pavin. He had a chance to win at Colonial just 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, it's incredible. I followed Freddie Couples when he won his first Champions Tour event in Naples. And I played a lot of golf with this guy. I said, this kid has not lost a step, and he's 50 years old. So that's the way it is. It's reality.
Mark, you talked about the work you do in the booth. You do a superb job.